chapter 14, verse 10. And it says, V'yata, and now, Hine echaya Hashem oti, Hashem has caused me to live. Interesting statement. And Akashi diber zeh be'em v'chamesh shana, just as he spoke to me these 45 years. Me'az diber Hashem et zavar zeh, from the time that Hashem spoke this thing, El Moshe to Moshe, Asher halach Yisrael b'midbar, that that Israel was walking in the midbar, the wilderness. V'yata, and now hinanoch hayom, behold, I'm here today. Ven chamesh u'shmonim shana, 85 years old. Okay, any questions there? So again,
I don't want to take any more time.
Take it. Go ahead.
And as he said in the next line, Hashem spoke, and with the same Hebrew word, they translate it both ways in the same sentence: said and spoke. That's all.
Okay, I can't answer on.
Never mind. Don't take any time with it.
Right. Okay.
We've done enough on that.
Right. Anything else? Again, and now Hashem has kept me alive. Behold, Hashem has kept me alive. He kept me alive when Hashem spoke this 45 years ago. From then, when Hashem spoke this to Moshe, that while the Israelites were in the midbar, the wilderness, like I said, and now, behold, I'm 85 years old. 85 years old today.
Happy birthday.
Okay. So Rashi says, Ze arba'im chamesh shana. This 40 and 5 years, 45 years. Labmadnu, so he said, we learn from this, Sheshahu bekivush haaretz, that it took, in order to conquer the land, Sheva shanim, 7 years. Sharei b'shana hashenit, because in the second year, Shalach Moshe hamaraglim, Moshe sent the spies. So Nisharu Shmona Shloshim Ushmona. So then you had another 38 years that Shahalchu b'midbar, that they went in the desert. V'sheva v'shakavshu, and then you had another 7 years that they conquered. Harei arba'im v'chamesh. So you have 45 years from that. So that's how he's getting. He's saying he was 45 years. Fine, these 45. Hashem has kept me alive in these 45 years, and now I'm 80. Now I'm 85. Very nice. So you know when he went on the spy mission, how old was he? Anybody willing to venture a guess on that one?
It was 45 years before, so 85, he was 40.
There you go. He was 40 years old. Okay. So he was 40 years old when he went on this trip, and he's telling that's what's going on. Fine. Then you have also anybody else here that we need? No. Okay. Next verse. So 11. Odenu hayom chazak. Still, I am still as strong today. Kasher b'yom shaloach oti Moshe. Just as the day that that Moshe sent me on the spy mission. Kechochi. So he obviously did his exercise, ate his vitamins. Because he's claiming he's just as strong at 85 as he was at 40. So that's a pretty good record. Could you claim that, Jim? I don't think I could claim that now.
I'm not 85.
I didn't say that.
It has to be when I'm 85.
It has to be 85. I don't think I could claim that I feel as good as I did 20 years ago as I feel today. I don't know. Call me crazy. But he's saying that. And he says, Kechochi az, Kechochi ata. Like my power was then, it's my power now. Kechochi, like my power. By the way, that's kochi, my power, like. Okay? And they explain it in English here. I don't know how they translate it there, but they say, even so is my strength now. As my strength was then, even so is my strength now. Okay. La milchama, let's say level for the army, for war, to go out and to come back. So any questions there? No? Okay? Why do you have to say this? Why do you have to claim he's strong? He asks for land. Fine. So I'm calling to you, Moshe. I want some land. I'm 85 years old. I'm an Altakaka. So now, give me my land. Hashem promised me the land. Moshe promised me the land through Hashem. So where's my land? It's 7 years later. It's 45 years later already. Give my reward. So what's his problem? I'm just as strong as I am then. I was as strong now. I can go to war and so on and so forth. What's the bravado coming from?
At his guess, he's still strong and he wants land so he can work the land. So he's still strong enough to do that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Possibly. What else? So the Masudas David explains. He doesn't go your way as much, but he says like this. He says, since he came to ask for Hebron, Chashash, he suspected. Pen Yashiv Yehoshua Lemor, maybe Yehoshua would answer, Hello Zakanta, behold, surely you're old. Vatash Kochacha, and your power is weakened. You've lost power. Ve'etich Boshet Hebron, and you no longer can conquer Hebron. Remember, Hebron still has to be conquered. So that's why he said, I'm still as strong then as I am now. I'm still as strong as now as when I was then. And you can't use that as an excuse. You can't use my age. You can't say age discrimination here. So long ago, over 3,000 years ago, we had the warrior of age discrimination, and Caleb says, ain't working. I'm just as strong then. I'm just strong now as I was then. And kochi az, just then, kamo hakoach shaya bi az k'zeh hakoach bi hayom. Just as that day when we went out so many years ago, same strength I have today. Hein lihilachem ba'atzmi, to fight for myself, and let's say to go out and to come back. Lifnei am lahorotam, to teach the people all the tricks of the war. I'm still that guy. That's why he has to say that. Okay. So now, and the other thing also is, by the way, if you notice the order, let's say levo, to go out and to come back in. In other words, I'm not just going to be the guy that goes out and gets killed. I know how to fight. I go back, I go out, and I can also come back in. I'm also going to be, in other words, I'll be victorious. Viata, so, and now, Tanali el aharazeh, give to me this mountain, Asher diber Hashem veyomahu, that Hashem spoke on that day, Ki ata shamata veyomahu, because you heard on that day, Ki anakim ve'arim gedolah b'tzorot, that the giants were there, and the big cities that were fortified, Ulai Hashem oti v'harashtim, perhaps, maybe, that's what it really means. Hashem will be with me, and I will drive them out. Ka'ashir diber Hashem, just as Hashem spoke. Questions?
One of the things, Jim's brought it up a number of times, the difference between Amar and Dever.
Right.
It seems like the Amar is used when you have a direct quotation coming after. You see that more often. And when it's indirect, or just a statement, you see this.
Okay.
Dever.
Well, Jim was actually arguing on, that would, yes, I hear what you're saying.
And usually the Amar is right at the beginning.
Right.
And then you have a quotation coming right.
Right. But what Jim is asking you is on Art Scroll, why Art Scroll keeps describing diber as sometimes says and sometimes spoke. Jim a long time ago asked that question.
But they,
Right,
they
about
both
diber and
have
amar.
all those meanings. So
Right.
of
Well,
proclaiming.
amar is more a kal. It's not such a strong language
Okay.
as diber would be. Diber is kaved. It's PL.
But I hear what Bill's
Yeah.
saying all the time in the Hebrew book, Vayomer, and he
Right.
said, and
Right.
there's a quote.
Right.
So,
There's
I
no
hear what
question.
you're saying, but I'm saying something a little bit different. Yeah.
Right. No, again, that it says Amar is when I'm speaking to you directly. So you'll be correct. I'm speaking to you directly. I'm talking to you directly. I'm close to you, as compared to Diber, which is you're at a distance. I'm speaking to somebody, or I'm speaking to somebody through somebody else, whatever the case is. So that's how the Malbim explained that difference.
They'd be almost like the difference between say, which is a pretty generic term, and proclaim, which is a very strong. That would be the PL.
Yeah. It could be probably be ifil. I cause you to say. I cause you to say. I proclaimed.
But it's more action.
I caused it, right. Right. Okay, so here in this one though it says, and now like I said, give to me. Fine. By the way, I have to ask you a question. How would you, you all learn command form at this point. How would you say command to give to me?
Give to me in the command form.
Yeah. Masculine.
Drop off the. Is it na'ah?
No, tain.
Tain?
Tain.
Ten.
Tain. So
So
no,
there's no to me in there.
no, tain li.
Ten.
You would say tain li. Give to me. So the question is, why does it say to not li? It certainly is a command form here. I don't have enough.
Ten osa.
Say it again.
Ten osa.
No, it should say tain li. That's command.
It should say ten.
My question is, why say tit not li? To not li, it would be if I would want to say for a is titain.
Give it to me. This month.
To ni li would be for it's interesting. Why to na? Why to na? What's the extra hey doing there? I'm not sure. I'm missing something with that, but it's because it really should say tainly, not tanali. I shouldn't say tonight. It's saying tanali. Has a reason for it, but I'm not sure what the reason would be. Okay, so just be aware of that language. So then it says, Hahara zeh, give me this mountain. Why the mountain? Zeh Hebron. It's referring to Hebron. And it says, B'yom, which day? On the day that we went to spy out the land. Ki'anikim sham. Because the giants were there. On that day, the giants were there. And what happened? Umi atzar koach leilachem bam. And who held back who had the power to fight them? Ulai Hashem. But when Hashem, Ulai hi Hashem imi, the kavsham, if Hashem will be with me to conquer them, will garashem, and to drive them out, kashir diber letetli, like he said, like he spoke to give to me. So he's using the word ulai as an if. If Hashem helps me, then I'll be able to do it. If Hashem doesn't help me, I won't be able to do it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just found that. Going back to the command form of give to me.
Yeah.
What did you say it should be instead of what it is?
Tain li.
I'm sorry?
Tain li.
Ten.
Because how would you say a command?
How would you say you will give? Would that be?
Titain.
Titain.
Or venatata, if you use a vav conversive.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's just interesting
I'll
that.
mistake in a command, you will, and then whatever
Right.
the shorish verb is.
Right.
You will.
It's always in the you, and then you just take off the
Thing.
right. So the question, we'd have to look that up in the grammar book. Maybe that's an off spelling of tain, tana. Could be. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm bringing the question up, but it's I just want to bring that attention to that. Like I said, when we go to our grammar books, we can actually see, is there a tana that is also
I'm
masculine?
going to check it tomorrow morning.
Right. God willing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll look it up as soon as I get home.
Okay. I'm going to count on you.
You will give.
So here we go. Yud Gimel. Vayevarchehu Yehoshua. Yehoshua blessed him. Vayitain et Hebron leKalev ben Yefuna lenachala. And he gave Hebron to Kalev, the son of Yefuneh, as an inheritance. Mind you, it does not say ben Yefuna HaKenizi. Like I said before, we don't have to hear it every time. We don't need to hear that every time. We just had to hear it one time. But here we just hear him. We just call him by his old name, Kalev ben Yefuna. The next verse we'll call him by his full name. But at this point is that. So it was mean by Yevarchehu. How do you bless him? So the Metzudas David says, Sheinatseach b'hilachmo bam, that he should have success with the war that he's about to wage at Hebron. And again, since what's he taking over with Hebron? He's taking over the Sadeha Ir v'chatzareha. He's taking over the fields of the city and its districts, its suburbs. Of Ir atzma hayta ir mikla. But the city itself was one of the cities of refuge. Vihi umigrasheh hayu kohanim. And so the city and its surrounding area of 1,000 amot, they belonged to the Kohanim, like we said for below or before. So he doesn't get all of Hebron. Hebron was the city of refuge, and that's today. That's about. By the way, just so people can know where Hebron is, that's where the cave of Machpelah is, where the Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov are buried. Right now, it is owned by the Palestinians. I believe it's in the Palestinian control. And so there's always an argument as people want to go there to visit the gravesites of the patriarchs, and it's a very dangerous area to do that in. But that's, when you hear of Hebron, or Hebron, that's what they're talking to. This very place that was originally a city of refuge, and that's, does everybody understand the city of refuge? Why that was there? Okay, a city of refuge would be, it was like we said, it was owned or inhabited by, not owned by. It was inhabited by the Levium. You have 22,000 Levium spread throughout all of Israel, 22,000 families of Levium. And so they would be put into the 48 Levitical cities throughout the land of Israel. Specifically though, 6 cities of refuge they would have. The people who were sent to a city of refuge, we'll talk about this again later on, but just to speak first, it was people who were involved in involuntary manslaughter. If somebody would kill somebody by accident, without malice, there can't be any malice or hatred towards that person if they was totally innocent as it were of that, but due to their to a mistake, the person was killed, then that person who committed manslaughter must run to the city of refuge, and only in that city of refuge will he be safe. If he leaves that city of refuge, then the Redeemer of blood, the Goel Hadam, who is a direct relative of the person killed, has license to kill that person by the Torah. Has license. And so that keeps that murderer, even though it's an involuntary murderer, that keeps that murderer in a place. So that's the city of refuge, where it would be those Kohanim and the Levium. So why would Hashem create that sort of system? Because the only reason you committed that was committed under your hand, as it were, is because there was some sort of spiritual mess up that you had, and so you had to go to this. You would have to go to the city of refuge, which would be your rehabilitation. You could not get out of that city of refuge though until the Kohen Gadol died. The high priest had to die. That would be your release.
How does that square with the commandment, thou shalt not kill? That there's a license for somebody to
No.
potentially
It's
murder somebody else?
yes, by the Torah. The Torah is saying yes. The Torah
How does
is
that square with that commandment?
because it's saying that do not murder means that I'm just for what it actually comes off of. You're denying God's the creator because you think that you can just murder anybody you want. He can't murder anybody. He can only murder one person. The person who murdered the person who he didn't murder. He didn't murder. It was an accidental accident. He killed him, but it was an accident. It was an accident, and so therefore, if he leaves where he's supposed to be, he can't. Then he's basically, think about this: a guy's under house arrest.
I understand. That's not my question.
Once you get a license to kill, you get a license to kill.
Thou shalt not kill.
Murder.
The commandment is thou shalt not
Murder. Otherwise, you couldn't kill anybody.
How does that commandment square with this law that you can murder this person?
Because what I'm saying is, many times in the Torah, you have God says you can't wear wool and linen together, right? That's one of the commandments. You can't wear wool and linen in the same garment. It can't be interwoven in the same garment. Then it says about tzitzis that the tzitzis would be the exception. It says you can't marry your sister-in-law. Is one of the forbidden things. In other words, your brother divorces his wife, and you say, "Well, I like her, so I'll marry her." No, it's forbidden to do that.
Unless the brother dies.
If the brother dies without children, then you have an obligation to either marry her or give her chalitza, to let her go. So many times in the Torah, it says don't do this, but then there's an exception that God put into that system. So here also, you can't murder is a normal situation. I can't murder. But in the situation of accidental manslaughter, again, involuntary manslaughter, that's what we call it. So at that point, by the way, it would even be, let's say, God forbid, updating it. Somebody's driving on the road and hits somebody. They never had intent to kill that person. Still, no, we consider that manslaughter because you were driving a 2,000-pound car or whatever, and that's the cheapest car you're going to get, and you killed somebody. You should have been on the lookout for that. So even though you were really innocent, we consider you manslaughter. It was manslaughter. So the Torah says to that family member that you have the license to kill, not as a revenge, but to keep that person where he has to be. So if that person would leave house arrest, if you will, namely leave the city of refuge, then he puts himself into danger, and he has no right. Hashem has taken away his right to live in the normal world already, until the Kohen Gadol dies. On the other hand, if the Kohen Gadol died after he went in, one day after this guy went in, let's say it happened like that, the Kohen Gadol dies, the high priest dies, then that person is released, and the Goel Hadam cannot touch him. It could last 30 years, it could last 5 minutes. Doesn't matter how long it is. But that's when Hashem decides that person has done enough to shuva for whatever he's done.
Do other people have the right to kill this person?
No, absolutely not. If they do, then they and furthermore, if he goes, let's say the Goel Hadam would go into the city of refuge and murder him, then he would be up for murder. He has to wait till he gets out of the city of refuge, and only if he's trying to get out, if he escapes.
Is there some underlying lesson that some things are incomprehensible to us, but still if you're observant Jew, you go by them, even though it makes no sense at all, no rational sense to the person, to us. There's no explanation.
You mean 2014?
I mean, it makes
15?
no rational sense, any explanation that we can understand, but still it's in the law, so you should believe that it's right and you should follow it. even though there's no explanation.
But there is an
Makes sense to
explanation.
us.
It would be no, but there would be an explanation. It's normal to want revenge. It's normal to want revenge.
Okay, that's what gets me. If it's not revenge, why is it only the family member that can do it? It's kind of
No, but that's the point. Because who else? You can't hire somebody else to murder. It's only you. If you have to. If you desire that sort of thing, it gives you license. It gives everybody else license. And I can't hire a bounty hunter to get this guy. If I have such a desire to do that, then I have to wait for my turn, as it were. So that's fine. But I can't hire somebody else. It's not. On the other hand, if the execution, let's say the guy did on purpose and it was malice, so then he gets put to death by the court.
okay.
So that's something else. That's our death penalty. No appeals. No, it has to be done within 24 hours. There's nothing like that. But again, you could argue Hashem said don't murder, and we're murdering this guy. The answer is, at certain times you wipe out your opportunity. You've given up your opportunity. So that's the rationale behind it as to why Hashem allows. So, but the answer to your other question would be yes. If something goes against my logic and I don't understand it, it doesn't negate that God gave it. So then I have to follow it. But in this case, I think it's quite logical that people would want to get revenge, and we're telling them that you can only get revenge under certain circumstances, not every circumstance. And if you do it under every circumstance, you'll be obligated to die. Because you actually have the malice. Unlike the other guy, the original guy had no malice. You actually have the malice. So that's why it has to only be under specific.
So in this case, the guy leaves the city of refuge, the family member is okay to take revenge to kill this guy.
Mm-hmm. Only if he leaves.
Then revenge is permissible.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, it's absolute. The truth is very logical because what happened is that the Torah. I think if I had explained, I would explain like this: the Torah understood this guy, the family member, wants revenge because what happens is his loved one is dead, and this guy who got away with murder in his mind. No, doesn't matter what you want. In his mind, I said. In his mind, he got away with murder. My loved one is dead, and this guy's walking around. So I have a vested interest in making sure that this guy doesn't. I want to kill the guy. Hashem says, whoa. You can't just go out and wholesale slaughter. That doesn't work. What you have to do, because he has a safe zone. If he gets to that safe zone, and first of all, he has to be proven guilty, by the way. If he's not proven guilty, he can't do anything. But if he's proven guilty and he leaves that safe zone, then he's putting himself into danger. You have no right to do that. So that gave an outlet to this person. The same way, by the way, if you go into war of territory, and you see a beautiful woman, as quote unquote beautiful woman, even if she's married, the soldier can take her to be his wife.
Is this person obligated to go out and kill this person if he leaves the city of refuge, or is it up to him, the family member that wants? I
understand
the idea of forgiveness. The guy doesn't have to kill the guy, does he? By law.
The guy has to stay in the city of refuge. So,
if he leaves, does a family member have to kill him?
So I'm not sure.
Huh?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
I'm not sure about that.
All right.
You're asking, is he mandatory to kill? I don't know. I think he has
What about the idea of forgiveness? I'm hoping it's not a law that anybody under any circumstance has to go out and kill somebody.
No, it's not a matter of
under any circumstance.
You can't make a law that people can't follow, but it's not a matter of forgiveness either.
Right.
No, but I'm saying it's not a matter of you have to understand that we always want to say let's forgive. They can't. When in this situation, if somebody murders, let's say the murderer, he murders. I can forgive you all you want. I can do all I want, but you still are obligated to die, and you will die, and you will be executed by the courts. I can forgive you all you want. You can ask for forgiveness. That's between you and God, if God's going to forgive you. The bottom line is you did something that broke the law and had this punishment, and you knew the consequence. It's not that you didn't know the consequence. You knew the consequence, you accepted the consequence, and you took the chance. Okay, so that's the case. That's the case.
It's a regular death penalty.
That's a regular death penalty.
This is an accident.
No, so I'm saying in here, so we're not saying to kill the guy. We're saying he has to stay in the city of refuge because Hashem recognized that there's what we're recognizing is something spiritually is wrong here. So you have to go, you have to learn Torah, you have to do what you're going to do in the city of refuge. You cannot leave. Again, you're under house arrest. You cannot leave. If you leave, you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Deal with it. And everybody who's under house arrest has to deal with that sort of thing. They want to say there's 1,000 reasons that should be going out. No, you can't. You cannot go out. So if you go, your question is, and I hear your question, I don't know the answer. If the person would go out and the Goel Hadam, the Redeemer of blood, the family member, doesn't have it within him to kill somebody, just doesn't have it. Right. Can't do it. Can't pull the trigger.
Right.
Okay. So get the courts to get him back in there. But the person going out cannot just go back to his normal life. That's the point of the Torah. So he has to be aware that maybe this Goel Adam will kill him, and with license. So, like I said, I think there'll be more like that. I'm not sure though.
It's a good example as we try to approach Hashem. We try to emulate the 13 attributes. This is combining, that mysterious combination of the God of justice and the God of mercy.
Right.
That we got both of those at the same time.
Correct.
How does that work? And
right.
It's showing how this works.
Right. Like I said, sometimes you have to have a stomach to do all these things. So the executioner has to have a stomach for this, to actually kill the person, whoever it was. Even now, when we're injecting drugs into the guy, and supposedly it's supposed to be a nice death. I don't know how that works, but humane death. I don't know. I can't imagine why it would be humane. Okay, but I'm just saying that sort of thing where the guy would have to do it. That person has to still go into bed, to go to sleep. It was also interesting a slaughterer, the slaughter of the cows. I remember I went to a kill floor one time, a regular kill floor, not kosher, and the guy takes a gun, shoots the animal in the head. The animal falls down dead, and then he's going to go to lunch. You know what? I watched that, and I eat meat. I got sick. I was like, that's cruelty. That's just the cow. You can see the cow knows something's wrong. Boom, and the guy's just talking to his friend. And I was thinking, wow, how can you just turn off like that and just do it? Now he would answer because my job. So it's an interesting situation, which I understand what you're saying. It's hard if the person doesn't have it within to do it, so he can't do it. So what? He's going to be knast? He's going to be fined? No. Obviously, what he has to do is help them get him back into the city of refuge by telling the courts he's out, and then they can't hire somebody to kill him either. They have to just get him back in. We'll have to stop there.